YouTube. How we doing? YouTube. Let me go live on Discord and we'll get right into things. Give me 1 second, chat. Boom. What's up, Lixie? Oh, my computer. I mean, my keyboard. What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? Can you guys hear me? Let me make sure the right mic's on before I start rambling. Yeah, it looks like it. Good morning, good morning. Let's just go right into it. I'll throw up the screen share, see how the video looks. Not bad. We'll rock with it. All right, guys. So you guys know yesterday was a no trade day. But price ended up doing exactly what I wanted. Not only on UK 100 and DAX, but also on NASDAQ. But let's start on UK 100. Again, we did end up continuing back bullish the other day. If you guys remember from about a week ago, maybe even, it was about a week ago, I'd say so, I told you guys that price was going to come into these highs. The reason I said that is because, again, like from a higher time frame standpoint, we had this bullish leg, we had this pullback, and it took us a while to get up back into these highs, but we eventually did. Okay, super simple. Now, what am I looking for? Obviously, we're bullish. Okay, that's definitely, obvious. But I don't like buying in this overextended of a market, especially when we make a new higher time frame high, which is an hourly and 4. I'm not saying that the price can't continue to pump here 100%. But one thing I did notice is we did start kind of stalling out right at these highs. And I know you may be saying like we did have another bullish push, but this was all news. This was news right now, GDP release right at 11 that ended up pushing price up. And yes, that can continue to push price higher, but it's just not my go-to setup, guys. Like it's definitely there as far as probabilities of like waiting for a pullback and continuation. But at this point, we are in all-time highs too. Like we have no targets whatsoever. We're just targeting the abyss, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I like targets in the sense of like, let's say we waited for the pullback. I know that I can target this equilibrium knowing that price is more than likely going to facilitate that pullback into that equilibrium. Pretty simple. So as far as UK 100, I'm expecting sales, but I really don't think we're going to get much from it today. I'm just not a fan, again, because like we're still sitting within this entire bullish leg, meaning like if I were to have to follow my plan, which obviously I am, I'd have to wait for a break at this low, and it's just kind of unrealistic. Let's go to DAX. So DAX ended up selling off. You guys know we did take a loss. What was this? Tuesday? But that's fine because, again, we didn't have our win. I believe it was Monday we won. But I can't be mad. The reason I can't be mad is because our bias ended up playing out. We did get wicked out. Price did not go much higher. Kind of hesitated. And it eventually sold off. Because if you guys do remember, our target was this hourly leg. We had this new hourly leg that was produced. We were targeting down here within the equilibrium and deeper pricing. It's exactly what it did. But now that it's done that, what am I looking for? I'm going to be looking for buys, okay? Especially when we go down to the lower time frames and we can see where we were last internally bearish here. Did end up flipping and changing structure. Right? At least from a 5-minute point of view too. And structure, and we've just been slowly trending higher and higher. So I like it. I like buys here. Everything kind of aligns with buys. Now I just want to see how price reacts at these points here. Because if we just start seeing aggressive selling candles, honestly, I'm just not going to sell. I'm not saying sales can't happen because we still have like Tokyo lows down here and all that. But the probabilities are just sitting on buy side. It really is, especially seeing that how we reacted after the 1 minute facilitated its pullback and how the 15 and 5 minute has continuously been trending bullish after that. So that's definitely buys for today. And I could see us taking a setup as early as this. But my one fear is price may end up breaking this before London Open. and then we may have to move our entry up to this high, which is no big deal. And the reason it's no big deal is because, again, like our overall targets would be 1, these highs, and 2, these highs. And I could ultimately expect price to can just fly. Can't say it's going to fly forever, okay? I'll look at gold right now. Let's go over NQ. So if you guys remember NQ, we were looking for sales yesterday, and I did just say we did end up playing out. You guys know we did take a trade. We got taken out at break even, which is fine, which is right here. Got taken out at break even because we hit 101. Ended up coming a little bit higher, and I told you guys before I left stream, if we got a new break lower in a retest, I was going to shoot. And I was waiting, guys. I really was for these sells because it looked beautiful. But we barely missed our equilibrium. I mean, barely missed it. If I zoom in, you can see that we barely missed that shit. And I need to see it react off that level. So same thing down. Another bearish leg, another miss. So either way, it was a whatever day, but break even, so I can't be too mad. But today's bias, yo, what's up, Jocko, Casper? Today's bias on NQ, I'm thinking is a little bit more bullish. And the reason I say that is because if you guys remember yesterday and the day before, my goal was to see price come down and fill this 4-hour gap. And it's did exactly that. And the reactions that we're seeing after that fill are pretty gnarly, being that we have these nasty bottom wicks that are just showing us that buyers are really trying to take back control. Okay, so when it comes down to lower time frames, yes, we're still sitting within this 15-minute like bearish leg, I guess you could say, but being at that higher time frame bias is pretty bullish, and seeing that these last couple candles on the hourly are seeming strong for buys. I mean, unless this candle goes to shit, then honestly I am going to be looking for buys, especially being that we can go and look. We see this nice little 5-minute trend. And I believe, yeah. So this is our 5-minute leg that we're playing within. So we can either wait for that pullback and enter off some type of 1-minute rejection. Or another thing that we could do potentially is if price does give us some type of structure within here, where I'm already kind of seeing some structure. We started to hesitate within here, swept liquidity, taking all of this sell side, came down, kind of created a new low. Retesting, if we have another push down and retest, we could end up taking one of these like continue or like these pullback trades down into, you know, our area of interest and not even have to take it. What are we trading today? NQ, DAX, and UK 100. But someone asked me to look over gold. I don't really like gold, but I look it over. I think we're going to take out Tokyo lows. I have a feeling we'll probably see a sell-off down into this area of liquidity. That'd be my only shot, though. But I'd want to wait for like some type of volume to step in, maybe breaking some structural lows and stuff like that. But I'm thinking we could catch an early setup within here. It just depends on how price looks. But even if not, again, we'll still end up taking the buys off of this level. Hell yeah, George. Love that. But again, we'll see what happens on DAX. UK 100, I think, is just out of the picture today, guys. I'd just rather let it, you know, play out. And if it does end up giving us, you know, some type of pullback entry, then, you know, maybe we end up shooting later on. But I just think this is a pretty significant move for it to actually flip bearish internally. And it's not ideal. But again, like I said, like even though I anticipate sales, doesn't mean that price still can't continue higher and just continue to make new all-time highs. You know, that's something we saw, I believe it was last year. The end of the year, if I'm not wrong. Was it not? Am I tripping? Yeah. Well, how's your guys' week been so far? Solid. Great week, thanks. What about you? Woke up to some nice profits. Hell yeah. It's been good, I can't lie. Can't complain. How do you open the side channel? Okay, so you'll see the 1 minute chart type, and then right here, it'll probably show trade LMT. All you have to do is press that down arrow and press trade bar, and it opens up, and you'll be solid. What is UK 100 on Legacy? So unfortunately, UK 100 is not offered on Legacy, nor is DAX. Kind of sucks, but if you did not know, also majority of futures prop firms don't offer those markets as well. That's why we are trading NQ as well, so we can actually run up those Legacy accounts with you guys, where I will be looking for some setups over here. And if we get anything that's, of quality, we'll definitely shoot. Will it be added soon? It's definitely something that we're talking about, but we just don't know yet. I know a lot of people have been asking for it, so it's, a maybe. Yeah, chance. That's crazy. But yeah, like, even though it's not on Legacy, like, I do trade on my live, which a lot of people do trade on their live accounts when it comes to UK 100 and DAX. It moves great. Like, if you guys have been here for a while, like, you guys should be able to see, like, it moves beautiful. It just follows structure. I can't lie. Like, maybe it's just the time of day as well. But like, same thing for NQ. I was trading NQ this morning, and I made some quick profits, but I definitely realized, like, London's, I think, like, structurally wise, is so much cleaner, especially for like the type of setups I look for. I mean, I can't say, like, if I were to wait, for like 30 minutes after open, maybe it looks a little bit cleaner when it comes to all that, but it's just so volatile, so big of candles within that first 30 minutes. It's just pretty gnarly to have that 10-point stop loss and 20-point TP. Like, it's quite nearly impossible. It's possible, but it's just like, you're just dealing with these fat fucking candles. It'd suck if price breaks early, guys, because again, it'd be way more optimal to get a setup down here, because then look at the difference when it comes to our TP. This would be our full TP if we did get entry down here, but this would be our TP if we don't get entry down there, which is pretty fucking insane as far as the difference. Where would you put a fib here? Here? I'd put a fib. All right, let's look at structure. Right here. So we can see that we did facilitate that pullback down into the 50%, even down to 71%, had a nice little reaction off of it. So we've already come down within discount of this bullish leg. I like it. Like, I really like it. And I guess ultimately, like, this break of a high is a little bit better as far as confirmation wise. Why there? Because if we go back and look at structure, we can see a high being broken. Had a pullback. Was this a break of a high? Yeah. Break of a high, pullback. And then we saw price continue up here, but it never had a significant enough pullback into discount levels. So that's why it continued to expand that range higher. But even from like a 15-minute standpoint too, like, we just broke this high. So I guess, like, this could also be a call for a pullback. So again, like, going back to the entry, it could be better that we're entering up at these highs to confirm that price is going to go up and break those highs. What's NQ doing? I am tempted to take a lower position, but then at the same time, I don't like that wick, so I'd rather probably just wait. What's the plan for NQ? Overall, I'm expecting buys like off of this 5-minute trend, but at the same time, if we get some type of 1-minute setup down, we can target this pullback and use this pullback to our advantage as far as understanding that we can target those discounted areas. But I think we may end up seeing those sells. So all right, getting some nice expansion. Again, I will take a break of these highs, guys, on DAX. I'm in. I had a limit set. Let me make sure I'm in. Yeah, I'm in, guys. It was quick. You have to be ready. Super quick. But again, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to win. So remember, our first target is 101. Once we go to 101, I will remove half of my position and go to break even. So keep that in mind. We are expanding on NAS, which is totally fine. Again, that just stretches out this 5-minute leg. I got to pay attention here. UK 100, weird. What sucks is, again, like, just based off, like, if you guys remember what I said earlier, if we would have been able to enter down at this area where I wanted to enter, we would have already been taken out at 1 and 2. Like, we would have already won, you know. But that's, you know, sometimes, again, like, 1, we had that break too early, where I'm not going to enter too early. And 2, again, like, it was a little bit better and more ideal to take a break these highs because, again, nothing said that price had to break those highs. Make sure I got accurate 101. Nah, I mean, UK 100 is selling off. Kind of anticipated that. Move stop loss? I'm not moving my stop loss yet. I don't move my stop loss until I hit 101. I can't find Journey 40 on. I only see. Yeah, it's same thing. Same thing, Tristan. Sorry. Same thing. If you guys missed this setup, again, like, you could potentially expect price to make some type of, you know, retracement and then continuation. But ultimately, being that we're at such a high volume time, like, once we hit 101, I will close half my position and just hopefully let volume do the rest. It's not guaranteed, like, as of right now, that we'll even hit 101 because we already had such a massive move. And we took those highs, actually. That's one thing I don't like, actually, is we swept that high. Granted, oh my gosh, I'm fucking dying over here. Granted, my overall bias is for price to continue past those highs and to make a new high. But that, at the end of the day, why can't... Holy. Oh my god. Y'all did not see that. But at the end of the day, price could have just taken that high, finished its objective as far as just taking that high, and then totally flip on us. And we don't even get taken out of break even, which is fine. Again, like, I'm going to hold on to this trade until we're either at 101, 1 to 2, or we lose, or break even. But again, we're not at break even due to the fact that we didn't hit that 101. But again, like, it would suck, especially being, like I said earlier, if we would have been able to take it a lot lower, we would already been at 1 to 2. Like, there's no question about that, which we'd already been in, out. And again, there's nothing I can necessarily do to change that. There's not, because at the end of the day, we ended up breaking that area a little bit premature before letting it open. So, trading Forex. Yeah, I'm trading my Forex broker. But I'm also trading NASDAQ. There's not anything that I see yet. So, but ultimately, we are expecting the 5-minute to, you know, facilitate some type of pullback here. That's what I'm waiting for. And then we can look for a continuation back higher. But ultimately, what would be nice too is, like, seeing the 1 minute now break this low, have a pullback, and then we can shoot for, those quick sells down into these discounted areas. That'd be pretty ideal. I like these types of setups. But it's a low waiting game. Let's go make that push. Do it for George. It was fast, guys. I had set a limit in most cases, if not all cases. I set a limit right before, like literally 30 seconds before open. The only time I don't set a limit is if price is very close to my entry. It was still significantly a decent amount away to where I would not expect it to break that before letting it open. But the reason sometimes I do wait and don't put a limit is just solely based off the fact that price can break premature, and I literally do not do that. All right, guys, 101 hit. So already some profits. Better let me close, partial close. All right. Closed half, the rest at break even. So already a W day for me, at least from, the Forex side of things. Or I mean, this is, still indices, but, y'all know what I'm fucking saying. But that does make back, granted, we're still up pretty good for the month, but this loss did obviously take off a little bit of those profits, but we already made most of that back. And then obviously if we hit that full 1 or 2, we'll definitely be solid, but we're still up for the week. Up 1,000 on paper, sadly. Chance it'll be real soon, trust. You got this shit. All right, guys, we're having that sell off. Beautiful. And again, like I am expecting, I'm hoping for a potential sell position, but we could just end up dumping here and coming straight down to that area where I'll still look for buys. But overall, like that's what I'm hoping for, is we do end up seeing some type of change of character within that 1 minute structure, pull back, and then we can look for those sells back down into those discounted levels. Those are like really my ideal setups. Just 375 contracts, that's crazy. All right, guys, just hope to get that rest of that push, that rest of the way up. UK 100 did end up selling off, guys. Told you I had a feeling, especially like, again, I mean, it could still definitely go bullish, like from this area, 100%. But this like whole push here was all just news. DAX, 1 hour, no bottom wick. I have a bottom wick here. It might be the data provider. We might probably on different ones. I would have shit myself with my own money. Why? Hell yeah. Let's keep pushing. I don't mind that at all. It really sucks being that, like, if we would have really got that ideal entry, guys, we'd be up if we would have held damn near 1 to 3, 1 to 4. So, what the fuck was that? Again, like price is still obviously bullish, so like we're still seeing price trend within like this bullish manner, which I guess we could have taken these buys, but ultimately I'm really expecting, being that again, like every time that we make a new high, guys, on any time frame, we can always expect some type of pullback. So even though we're still trending, which definitely is obviously very likely in the sense that again, like we're still bullish, so we're still seeing this expansion, still seeing these pullbacks, and we may see another expansion. But ultimately, at some point, it's going to die out. And once it dies out, that's where, again, we can either catch these sells back down or just wait for the buys back up, because ultimately, we know the price will facilitate that pullback. But I really do think sells will be a little bit of a hit or miss. Never been successful in this. I've been in 2 other groups. What do you mean? I don't see Jared Flair on what do I get to on Legacy. So Antone, if you did not know, Legacy and most futures prop firms don't offer DAX or UK 100. So that's why we're also trading NQ, so you guys can actually, take some trades with me. And I trade it the same way. I just trade at a lower scale, like 1 minute. But with UK and DAX, I just trade on my live broker. There are other prop firms, but you should only be trading with Legacy. I just suggest, like, if you do end up getting into UK 100 and DAX, I mean, yes, you can go and find something else, but granted, I think Legacy at some point will add them. So, just kind of sit on your hands and wait there, or just kind of throw up a live account, because that's what a lot of people do in here. They just throw up live accounts with me. Could go for sales in UK 100, just made a pullback, and if on the fall it made. Here's the one thing about that is I think sells can definitely play out, but when it comes to this like sell off here, like we never broke any type of structural low. We just kind of wicked that. Even if we go to the 1 minute, I guess you could say we broke this structural low. And if that's something you want to play off, then yes. But that's just not enough confirmation for me to feel confident in sells. But I'm not saying sells can't play out. So again, like if that's something you look for, shoot on those sells. Like don't just not shoot. Oh shit, Lewis. What do you want? What's your data provider? Fire J. Putting stop loss beneath the bullish candles here. Like I've been in a Discord group and just a lot of loss of money. I'm sorry, bro. That shit happens sometimes. So UK 100 did sell off, my guys. So again, like you can definitely hop in if you want, but that's just not my cup of tea there. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm back. I know you guys were a little bit sad and whatnot, but if I don't win for your account, removing your AI token from Discord. Yeah, did you comment on the newest video? Again, guys, go comment on my newest video. It'll enter you into a giveaway, so if you're looking to win a free account, that's definitely a way to do it. First off, go subscribe. I know you guys aren't subscribed. You never know. What if I do $1 million giveaway one day? And y'all just ain't about it. So go like it. Was actually a fire video too. If you guys like are a little bit more interested in like how I trade my DAX and UK 100, that's definitely something you can go and check out. I have subscribed. Fire. If you aren't subscribed, get out. I'm kidding. No, I'm not kidding, actually. But again, let's look. Price is most likely going to take these lows, which is nice. I'll unsub. Again, we could just straight shoot down. But ultimately, I'm hoping it doesn't. Also, guys, I probably won't be live tomorrow, guys. George, why you gotta... Oh, you're in UK 100 sales? Fire. Again, like, from a higher time frame standpoint, I could assume that UK 100 is more likely to sell off than it is to buy up, just based off how overextended we are. Like, there's still room to get in, whoever was asking about UK 100 earlier. Like, at some type of break of these lows. stops up here, because again, you're targeting such a big pullback that you can actually play something like that. But let me pay attention here. But going back to what I was saying, guys, I'm not going to be live tomorrow. We didn't break these lows, guys. We just wicked them. I don't take it until we have a candle closure. I won't be live tomorrow. I'm thinking of either having one of the other streamers cover for me or just have no stream whatsoever. I don't know. What do you guys think? Have someone cover for you if they can, 100% fire. Why aren't you streaming? Disappointed. Haha. Nah, like I don't like missing it, to be honest. But it's my girl's birthday, so I'm gonna take her out to do something. Now I have one of them boys cover for you. They all straight. Yeah, I'll have one of them. Either Chris or Mark. I think Chris is usually awake at this time, but he streams New York, so that's where he may, not want to, because then kind of pushes him to stay up later. Luca, I know I told Luca, and he was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to stay up late. But I know he won't. Chris' sleep is as bad as yours. Yeah, George, I know. Oh my gosh, Kay. Yeah, her birthday's 2 days before Valentine's Day. Yeah, my biggest expense right there. Yeah. And our anniversary, too, is in this month. I hate February with a passion. But this February has been good, so. So draw the diagram. Ultimately, I'm expecting sells, truly. But we never had a full break of structure, which sucks. It really does suck because price did end up facilitating a pullback. And honestly, like if we would have had that actual break of that low, I would have been entering just based off this rejection candle. I'm not entering, guys, just based off how price did not break that low. And again, like it could honestly save us from an unnecessary loss, because at the end of the day, like this could just be treating as liquidity to then pump price higher. But ultimately, if we would have got that break of that low, I would have been looking for that pullback. But being that we didn't get that break of the low, if we still end up coming down, getting that break that low, seeing another retest, I will still take it if we have some type of good rejection to the downside. But ultimately, I'm looking for price to sell off down lower, and then I will be looking for some type of rejection off either the 50% here. And again, like all we look for is that rejection, and then we just play that reaction. But ultimately, like this would have been a lot nicer, truly, if we really would have gotten that break to low. But I just don't consider wicks a break of structure. I don't. But we're heavily rejecting the 50%, so I really think we could end up selling off from there, but we'll see. Come on, Dax. Hit my TP. Oh my gosh, we are selling. I wish I would have had a better entry. Like again, like I could have entered at a break of this low. Stops would have been fucking gnarly and massive. But ultimately, we know we could have targeted this entire leg. So therefore, was it a good shot? But we'll end up seeing. Like even though I didn't take this, obviously we took DAX. We made some money at break even with UK 100. We'll see if price does end up hitting our full 1 to 2. Then what is this trade? It's just really good data. Really good data. Because it tells me, like even though we had a lot bigger stop loss than what we usually have, typically our biggest stop loss is like 25 points on UK 100 at most. Even though we had a little bit bigger than usual stop and bigger TP than what we're used to having, it still hit, right? And being that it still hit, that's information that I can use as far as, it's not that I didn't have confidence in sells, You blew your legacy account, Blue Dream? Damn. How'd you blow that? What trade you take? But going back to this, even though, like, I'm not saying I didn't have confidence in, here, look at Nas, what's happening. Okay, good thing we didn't take those sells. It's not that I didn't have confidence, because again, like if you guys remember from the start, I said I like sells more than buys because of how overextended we were within price. But we just did not look the best on the lower time frames, and understanding that price could have continued higher. And I did say if we, saw some type of bearish setup, we could execute. And there's still room for that. I mean, we're 20 minutes into the session. Now that we're breaking these lows, if we broke these lows here, had a pullback into some type of premium level within this leg, I could take those sells back down. Because again, we know that truly, in theory, price is most likely going to come and facilitate this entire pullback of this entire bullish leg. So, and ultimately waiting for that second confirmation does give you a little bit more confirmation and confidence in the sense of, okay, price is now definitely trending bearish. Because even if we would have taken a break of these lows, this wasn't even that good of a low. I get UK 100 fire. Even though this was a good low to take, but this wasn't the strong low. Because again, if we go back over here, where we did end up attempting to break structure, we never broke structure here. So this little pullback, it wasn't necessarily a pullback of this bullish leg, because this wasn't even a bullish leg yet. We didn't break these highs until over here. So therefore, this is our low that led to that bullish breaker structure. We just had this consolidation here. So therefore, we are now just breaking structure. But the only reason is I don't want to take it there is that's just a massive stop loss, guys. Like that's just ugly. It really is. I guess we could take it. I'm just not a fan of that. But again, like I could be very much misjudging it in the sense of it's fine and we could have taken it. Because either way, we're going to, expect price to come back down and break these lows eventually if we do end up getting that pullback. But the biggest thing is, where we are within that stop loss. I'd rather see price facilitate that pullback so we know that if we do enter, price does not need to pull back anymore. I didn't take UK 100, guys. I took DAX. And we just missed our TP. I mean, I'm already at break even here, guys, but... Oh, shit. Hold on. Let me go over here. No, I haven't taken UK 100, guys. I haven't. It just got to a point where it would probably be good to take it, which would be a break of the structural low. So if you guys wanted to enter, you definitely could enter still. Like it just a little bit off of, entry. But my stops would have to be up here. Okay, so, once entry does come about, you just have to expect that you could be sitting in drawdown pretty shortly after while price facilitates a pullback. Because again, at any time when we make a new structural high or low, we're going to see a pullback majority of the time. So now that we've made this new low, is once we close beneath it, we could just instantly go and make that pullback, or we could trend down a little bit further and then make that pullback. But ultimately, I'd rather just wait for that pullback, because then it just confirms to us that we went from bullish structure to bearish structure, and we're still rejecting and making new higher highs and higher lows as we continue within that new bearish trend. But I guess it would suck if price just absolutely just like fucking ripped. I know George is up a bag. Nas is moving slow. It'd suck if we didn't hit full TPs here, guys. But again, like I already profited here. We're already at break even. There's no need for us to really shoot for more. And then we still have UK 100 potentially. I'm not in UK 100, guys. And we may not even get in UK 100. We'll see. This 1 minute structure look fire though, I can't lie. If we would have pulled our NAS strategy, We'd be up a 1 to 2 already. 10-point stop, break a candle, rejection at equilibrium. 1 to 2. Solid. Shit, I might have to start changing fucking how I trade UK 100. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I mean, granted, like, it did hit here, but it doesn't necessarily always have to do that. We were ultimately overall bullish, so that's where, you know, things didn't necessarily have to play out that way. Price is moving ugly. I want to get a setup here, but I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to happen right now. I'd like to see price, you know, if we, you know, came down, broke the slow, I could end up playing like this new leg here. Continue like back down, even though we like didn't necessarily make a new low. It looks like we're treating it as such. But again, like I just like seeing a break of candle rather, or like an actual candle closure beneath that low. UK 100 is selling off with DAX. Here's the thing with DAX is we could get taken out, or at least our rest of our position at break even, because of all this imbalance that we left within this first initial opening candle. We could come down as deep as this, rebalance that imbalance, and then continue back within our overall direction, which would suck because again, like, I mean, it wouldn't suck. Like, we already profited, we already got, or we're at break even. But, you know, especially if it did go back up to our full TPs, you know, we barely missed out on that entire profit for the day. But again, like that's, you know, that sometimes it happens. And again, it's not promised that it's going to go back higher. Like my break even and my management plans in place is because one, as you can see, we did have a very large push. Got to 101, took profits, closed or left some positions in, moved to break even because again, if price came down to break even, it could just keep coming down. And at that point, if I would have kept stops open, if I would have not taken profits, I'm now cutting myself short and not paying myself like whatsoever. And that's definitely like something that I've realized can be a problem. Fucking ugly ass price. What are we doing? It's the ugliest shit ever. Do we have news tomorrow or something? Even yesterday was better. Unemployment claims. Yesterday was better. We had fucking GDP release. I honestly want to see the 15-minute close beneath this low. And the 30-minute, which is just in 3 minutes. And then at that point, like I can pretty much confirm that price has now made that new low. And if we did get that pullback, I would look to shoot back down. I mean, I usually like to take a break of a low, but I could even take some type of like just quick little setup where my stops are at 50% or my entries at 50%, stops are at the high, and I shoot for that quick little 1 to 2. Because either way, like with direction being in our favor, like price is more than likely to have a reaction either here or here, and then we end up pushing down. Finally, Nas is moving. Better not wick those lows again. Oh my gosh, my fingers. We may not get another like new, like obviously we're gonna get a new bearish leg within here, but may not get a sell opportunity before price just absolutely dumps down into here. But that's fine because if we dump down into here, I will be looking for buys. Even though we have this top wick here, we saw this previous hourly candle end pretty strong, and I do think that we could just be seeing this next hourly candle facilitating that pullback, or at least rebalancing that imbalance from that previous hourly candle. Did you enter anything? Yeah, I entered. I've been in DAX. I already profited here. What about NAS? Oh. Yeah, okay, it's looking a bit ugly right now. Even yesterday, it kind of sucked. Like, even after stream, like I showed you guys, there was 2 potential opportunities for sells, but it just barely missed my equilibrium. And like, I have to see it hit my equilibrium. If not, like, it's just not a pullback for me. But yeah, Jocko entered DAX. As far as UK 100, we did end up having a really nice sell-off, but I'd rather wait for that pullback. Just because, again, like, even with price coming down here, like, as we got down within here, this was a break of a internal low, but it wasn't a break of a strong low. And that's where we could have saw price come down and then continue higher, even though our overall higher time frame bias was for sells, and that's probably why price is now going down for sells. But now that we have confirmed sells are definitely the bias for the day, that's where, it's a little bit better in the sense of, at least for me, waiting for 1, this new leg to be formed, and then 2, waiting for that pullback, because at that point we know that the higher time frames bearish, the lower time frame has now shifted bearish, and therefore we can just continue to follow that trend back down. Obviously, like, price could just tank, like I said, but even if I would have entered, this is where my entry would have been. I'd barely be up, not even 0.5 RR, so yes, like, obviously my stop's in an area where price could pull back and then still come back down and be valid 100%, so I could have entered there. But honestly, I'd rather just wait for that pullback too. Is Nas finally moving? Dude, Nas looks ugly as fuck. Ugly. Finally. I like the 30-minute here. How EQ's right at that fill, that imbalance. We could just end up taking buys here, guys. But I need to see some type of 1-minute reaction. That might be it. Once we get it closed, I'm probably going to enter buys here, guys. All right, I'm going to shoot for buys. We'll see what happens. Again, it needs to break this candle high. I'm not in yet. But I like that reaction candle. Obviously, we still have that 5-minute playing out. And it definitely can come lower. But I like that reaction candle there off the 1-minute. And that's what I look for. So we're just looking for that push higher. We're not in yet. Just missed entry. Just missed our entry, and again, that's fine because, again, price can come lower, truly. But one thing I do like about this trade too is seeing that 30-minute had this imbalance here, or I guess you could say fair value gap, whatever. And I'm expecting price to come and fill that and potentially, rip off of that. So I mean, I don't necessarily trade off for value gaps, but again, it's just an extra influence for me. Still not in though. I could be, if price closes through this 50%, then I'm going to remove my limit and just wait. But if we continue to reject it, my limit's just going to stay right here. Because at that point, you know, we're seeing price repeatedly respect this level. You know, I like that. How many points in NAS? 10 point stop loss. 20 point take profit. But our first take profit, well, not take profit, our first target is 101 where I'll move to break even. But 10 point stop, that's it. Close there. We're still rejecting it. Not the best 5-minute closure. But again, I don't necessarily pay attention to the 5-minute all too much other than general structure. But we'll see right now. If we get a break at that high and, you know, we have to take a loss, we take a loss. Because again, we could ultimately wait for a little bit of a deeper move. Price could also come down into this, you know, fair value gap as well. So bear that in mind. All right, I believe I'm in. Yeah, I'm in. Let's see what happens, guys. It was probably my only trade of the day. But I like that volume filled candle. That is a very good sign for us. Seeing that much volume being stepped in after that rejection. But doesn't necessarily mean we're going to win. So DAX is about to hit our break-even point, which is fine. UK 100 still sold off a little bit deeper. This candle right here will tell us a lot. This will tell us if we win or lose. If we get a bottom wick here, then we're probably going to see higher prices. If not, then we could get fucked over right here. If we hold like that, then I could really expect price to rip higher, but we'll see. Wasn't the best close, but we're in it for the long run. I would have preferred, again, like this setup up here, guys. But ultimately, like, we never got a real break of that low. This was definitely more ideal. Even though our overall structure is bullish, guys, I'm definitely a little bit more in favor with these pullback entries. It's just kind of my cup of tea. But we'll see what happens. Again, even if we lose here, we could end up taking another shot down lower because, again, like, our overall structure is bullish. Like, I expect price to continue bullish, especially being like the hourly looks fairly well as far as us continuing up into these highs up here. But we just may not be ready to do it now. That's like the one thing about entering at the 1 minute and having such small stops is, you know, the potential of price giving us a fake out, coming deeper, and then giving us entry later on. Still in. But this trade kind of is not looking the best anymore. I can honestly expect a loss here. But I'm chilling. We'll shoot again if possible. Plus, we already profited here, so. And we'll see if we continue to run up some profits here. But what it looks like on the 5 minute is it looks like we came up and retested or rebalanced this imbalance from this previous down candle. And then we could be looking to sell off a little bit deeper, maybe into some other areas down here, like the 15-minute or something like that. Because it's like the one thing I am looking at is this 15-minute fair value gap. I guess we just tapped into it right now, and I guess we could rip off of it, but we also could come a little bit deeper within it, fill the entire area of imbalance, and then continue from there on out. So I mean, we're still holding at that 50%, guys, you know, but we could be taken out here soon. Yeah, I think that's taking us out. Yeah. All right, guys, took a loss here. That's fine. Stop loss this. Yeah, I just got hit. Chance. We're going to see what happens. We'll take this one. Again, I really like this one. We had a nice rejection, multiple rejections. We had a nice impulsive candle. Couldn't ask for anything better other than the fact that price did not go our direction. But I'm going to sit and wait for a little bit and see what price does end up doing off of this area. And as we come down deeper within this bullish leg. One thing we could also wait for is, like, let's say price does end up respecting that fair value gap that was like sitting down here or whatever it's at. If price does come up and, you know, take some types of structural high like here, we could take, you know, that bullish trend back to the upside. So today's not over, but it's just a matter of, are you willing to wait? See, that's what I mean. Fucking bitch. Fuck NASDAQ. No, it's not promised to go up from there. But again, like, my overall bias is for buys, guys. Like, you got to keep that in mind. Damn, what did I miss? Us in a trade. Yeah, we took some quick buys here. Did end up getting taken out right here, barely. But I still have very good, strong hopes in price continuing higher. But again, like, we can shoot again and still make some profits on the day. Like, if price does break this internal high here, we could play some type of break, retest, and continuation. Which again, like, you know, going back to, you know, like what I talk about every single day, I'm still getting data on NQ with London. One thing that I could be waiting for is, like, even like I said earlier, like, these are ideal setups because this is like all 1 minute trend. With this over here, this is a 5 minute equilibrium, but we're just playing that 1 minute reaction. And that has worked with us so far. Like, we've been doing fairly good. But the best setups have been these 1 minute trend setups. I can't lie to you. You know, in the sense of, like, let's say price does break this internal high here. We do get a pullback and we win this. This is going to be data as far as, you know, instead of taking that rejection of that 5 minute equilibrium off that 1 minute reaction candle, to wait for some type of 1 minute structure within that 5 minute leg to be broken and then play that 1 minute structure. But again, we've done very good playing both sides of things. So that's where, again, like, ultimately I'm just looking to stack data to see what's really worth it. Like, where am I getting most of my wins from? Where am I getting most of my losses from? And then kind of play that accordingly. Chausta, I think I might end up getting into buys here. I still like buys here, guys. Like, I really do, especially looking at the 15 minutes reacting. Again, like, we just came down, reacted off this fair value gap. We're seeing some nice bullish structure. We just got in a little bit too early, which, again, like, there's nothing we can necessarily do about that. Like, there's not much. What are my thoughts on DAX? It looks good. I hope it comes back higher. I believe it facilitated its pullback. Yeah. So it facilitated a deep enough pullback to now potentially send prices higher. And I think that's what we're doing. So great. I'm still in. I never got taken out of break even. So. But again, like, when it comes to NAS, guys, like, in this case, we're just too early. Now we're just kind of hoping we get another chance to potentially capitalize. What the fuck, Thunder? What is this? How are sellers in control? Isn't it a green ball? Don't the green balls mean buyers are in control? And what is this on? UK 100, NASDAQ? But as far as UK 100, NASDAQ, saw something back there. Explain the chart, Thunder. Like, where does it show that sellers are in control? Because, like, based off what I'm looking at, I feel like it looked like buyers were in control here. Oh, fuck. I'm not paying attention. Oh, that's fine. Like, I know what this is, but I don't use it. Excuse me. Fucking George. We have a lot of selling order above the price. If we tapped and potentially get a chance to go short. But don't we have more buying pressure? Or is it just based off the fact that there's a lot of sell orders in that specific area? Yeah, I've always wanted to look into that, Thunder, but at the same time, like, it's an indicator, right? Is it not? And I'm always big on, like, price action's king, guys. Price action is all you need. Like, even though we took a loss here, again, like, I still expect my overall bias to play out. You know, it's just a matter of the fact that one, our stops could have been too small, which, again, like, in most cases, our stops are fine, especially when we're just looking for these short little small moves off of these reactions. And two, again, if the buy still plays out and we were just a little bit early, at the end of the day, like, there's nothing I can necessarily do about that. But I guess there is something I can do about that in the sense of, like, when I enter or how I'm entering. And again, that goes back to our conversation earlier where, let's say price does end up breaking these highs and does give us some type of pullback and continuation higher, you know, and it keeps doing that higher and higher and higher and higher. If that's something that I do start to see more than not, when it comes to, again, like these 5-minute setups where, yes, this was a 5-minute leg that we were playing and I was looking for a 1-minute reaction, but that's typically what we've been doing, right? Other than, you know, the situations where we are dealing with the pullbacks, right? That's, you know, that's a different scenario where, you know, we're seeing a 5-minute bullish leg. We see 1-minute structure starting to, you know, shift in the other direction, and we can catch that 1-minute structure down. But if, again, like if we start to see where we're getting taken out early way too much, you know, that's where we will wait for that 1-minute structure rather than just entering off that 1-minute reaction. Obviously, we're still going to enter off that reaction, but wait for that 1-minute confirmation as far as that new bullish leg. But again, I don't have enough data so far to, where can I see the lives? I don't have enough data so far to really like push me to the edge. See if we can get some loss back. UK 100 narrative. I think we're just going to pull back right now, but I honestly believe we're going to continue to sell off. That 1 hour kind of looking ugly now, though. I'd rather have the 1 hour close beneath that low and close pretty bearish and not have a nasty bottom wick, but I think we're just going to pull back to lead higher. Again, like higher time frames do call for price to pull back, meaning that we did break a new and make a new high. But again, it doesn't necessarily have to happen right now. Like the 5-minute close beneath those lows, 15-minute, 30-minute, now would be ideal is to see that hourly close pretty bearish and not, you know, with the bottom wick. If it does end up closing with the bottom wick, then if it comes to entry, I'll most likely wait for another break of these lows and have my stops above whatever last high was made. But if we do get that very strong hourly candle, then I could just enter at the equilibrium like that and just play a little bit more risky. Let's see what price does. Never broke that high. Look. So tired. We could come deeper, but truly, like, this 15-minute reaction was pretty gnarly. If we do end up coming deeper, like, at that point, I could really expect price to just flip trend. Truly. But we'll see. What I think NASDAQ would do, I still anticipate buys. Again, that's just based off the 5-minute and us being bullish overall. The 15-minute also being bullish. The 1 hour had a nice, 2 hours before this, we had a nice little bottom wick that led to a pretty impulsive bullish candle. That looked good, other than, obviously this hour, we are a little bit bearish. But ultimately, like from a bigger perspective too, we are within this 1 hour bullish trend. We had a pullback, and it looks like we could continue higher up into these areas up here. So I think our next area of liquidity would definitely be like here, but then obviously there's also other areas of liquidity like down here. Granted, do I think we're going to come down and take this? Probably not, just based off overall structure, but we definitely can. I still anticipate buys here. It's just a matter of, are we going to get a buy entry? If price just continues to kind of consolidate and chop within here, comes lower, I'm just going to take my small loss for the day and just come back tomorrow. Well, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, guys. Like, sorry. But I'll be here. Yeah. Fuck. Oh, see you guys till next week. What the fuck? I don't like that. But I can't complain because how did our week go? I forgot how our week went on NAS. That one. We caught these, right? Yeah, we caught this one. Is that our week? Yeah. So we caught this win. So nice little 2RR. Then had a break even, right? Where's that John at? Break even, and then today's loss. So ultimately, we're still up a little bit for the week. But granted, I would have wanted a little bit more. But at the same time, again, like, I really could care less, being that, I'm still getting mostly data from this. So and in me getting data, again, that only is going to improve, what we're ending the weeks like. But we're still up from the side. We've only been trading this for 3 weeks. Is DAX not on legacy? No, it's not. Nor is it on most futures prop firms. So I'd like to say good luck finding a prop firm that offers it, because it's very rare to find. I use live account for DAX and UK. Yeah, that's what most of us do, Brian. Most of us, like, when we do trade UK 100 and DAX, we are trading live accounts. Again, we'll take another shot here, guys. Because if we even lose this one, like, I'll be break even for the week. I can't complain about that. I really wouldn't mind. Why couldn't NAS do this when we were in? We may just end up ripping from here, to be honest. Yeah, but I don't trade IFEGs. I wouldn't like, my biggest thing is like, I wouldn't want to go and break my rules or add something to my plan mid session. Because even if I won, that'd feel good. But ultimately, if we would have lost, then at that point, like, not only did we lose, but broke my rules. At that point, that's unprofessional trading. What are we thinking here, buys? I like this like 1 minute push here. If we do get some type of pullback and reaction down at these levels, it went, but just after my stop loss. Yeah, it sucks. Like, sometimes it's like that. And even if we don't end up catching buys here, guys, like one thing that like really helped me early on too is like even now, like I could say like even when you do get taken out on some of your trades, like again, like always remember that you're not necessarily wrong. In majority of times you're not. You're just too early. And it's either going back and making observations to figure out how to not be early. And sometimes there's really no way to not be early. But obviously there's maybe a different way you could enter. And we already went over, how we could have differentiated our entry. Like we could have waited on that first initial buy setup. Even though it was good, we had confirmation, we had rejection, we had reaction. That's all I need to enter, right? But being that we did end up losing, we could now see that price is making a new high. And that could tell us, let's say we do end up taking the trade, it wins, whatever. Okay, that's just data going forward that the only way to have avoided that early loss was to have waited for a confirmation off a 1 minute bullish leg. But again, like we're not always going to get that too. Like we could have gotten that reaction and price just flew. And then at that point, we could just continue to see price fly and never have that pullback. And that's the downside of things too. So that's where I always preach, don't just go, like I'm not just going to get this data and go tomorrow and start changing shit or next week. I need actual data, consistent data to tell me, like, okay, this is, I need to see that pullback. Or it's not worth to wait for that 1 minute confirmation. Because even in this case here, let's say price just fucking flew. Because it can, right? 100%. We've seen it multiple times. Where was it? Fuck was it at? No, it wasn't that. No, that was that was something I took during New York. I think I deleted everything. I would enter at a pullback, guys, but at this point, like I said, price could just run. Like that's the unfortunate thing. But again, like you can't be mad. Like you can be mad that you lost, but you shouldn't be, because one, if you've been here this entire week, you should still be up with me for the week, and two, it just goes to show that the bias was overall correct in the sense of we understood the direction. We were just too early. But again, there's nothing that we could have necessarily done about being too early, because as of right now, so Nasdaq maxed out. Watch after waking up. But again, like going back to what I was saying is like there's nothing we could have necessarily done about that right now, right? Until we see some type of pullback and continuation, then that's what tells us, okay, we could have waited for that. But if we just end up ripping to these fucking highs, at that point, we never had we got the 1 minute confirmation as far as the break of structure, but we never got the pullback. Therefore, there's really nothing we could have done about that loss. Truly. We just had to take it to the fucking chest. So, but we win in DAX. We win in DAX. All right, now that the 1 hour is closing like that, guys, I probably will enter UK 100, but at a rebreak of these lows. Sucks for Nas, guys. It's just going to fly here. I can tell. It's just going to come take these highs. And again, like there could be another opportunity. Like being with us 5 minute now, making a new high. What could you wait for? You could wait for a 1 minute shift of structure to target that pullback. Or you could wait for that pullback and just try to take the same entry back up. Truly. Yeah, crew. I wanted to take it like a little bit riskier and like take it at 50% right here. But obviously, one, like, price could just fucking fly. And this is just a little bit more confirmation as far as price retesting and coming right back down. And then a lot of it had to do with the 1 hour too. Like, if we would have closed on this hourly a lot stronger and not had a massive bottom wick, then it would have been cool. Who the fuck messaged me? Yeah, it could fly like them. You never know. But DAX needs a fucking. It seems that UK 100 DAX are moving very similar right now, so I'd be pressed if fucking UK 100 just started dipping right now before we hit 1 and 2. I mean, their low-key could still be an entry within here, guys. I can't lie to you. I could shoot one more time here, guys, on NAS. But it depends on the reaction candles we're getting. This needs to be a strong rejection candle. If not, I'm going to wait for 71%. Alright, we could be getting in. Once this candle closes, I'm going to take a break of these highs, guys. Alright, man, guys. We'll see what happens. We could take a loss here, guys, but that would just end the week break even for me when it comes to my NASDAQ trading. So I really could care less. But again, obviously still have appropriate risk, guys. Don't, be stupid just because we expect price to go higher here. But this would definitely make back our loss. And add an extra like 200-300 on top of it. But that's if. We'll see. Let's just hope we get a break of these highs. But at that point, we had a very strong rejection off the 50% of this new leg. I think we're solid here. Obviously at 101, which is very soon, I will be moving to break even. Come on, give us that push. Don't top wick me. Oh, I'm gonna crash the fuck out. Hold on, I need to close my fucking DAX. Nas better not fuck me over, guys. Alright. DAX is full close, guys. If you guys were in DAX, I did end up taking my full position out. Just hit 1 to 2. Beautiful. As far as NASDAQ, let's see what happens. Again, like, we could end up coming a little bit deeper, obviously, to fill this imbalance. But truthfully, with this reaction candle off of that equilibrium, this was our entry. But again, if we do end up taking a loss here, guys, that's a break-even week for me, and I'll just walk away. But we'll see. It'd really suck if we did end up taking another loss and price still end up coming up higher. Again, like, this first initial entry would have won, guys. Like, our 1 to 2 was sitting about right here. But again, like, we barely got taken out here, literally by how many ticks? Not much. Barely got taken out before we ended up seeing that rip, but again, there's really not much we can do about that one. But let's see if UK 100 holds on. I mean, NASDAQ holds on strong here. We see a little push. About to crash out. You're fine. Again, guys, if I'm not crashing out, which I never do, you guys shouldn't be crashing. I get it, like, we may be at 2 different points of our journeys or whatever. But again, like, you shouldn't be taking a trade, and I'm not just talking to UK, to anyone. You shouldn't be taking a trade if it's going to affect you to the point, like, where you get upset, because again, like, I'm taking this trade knowing that, being that we had a pretty good week, I'll still be break even for the week, and again, if we win, then again, we just add on to our profits. So, but again, we're still in high probabilities here to shoot here. It's just a matter of, are we going to get that push higher, or is price going to come a little bit lower into these areas and then continue higher? But ultimately, I can expect it to continue higher just based off this bullish push here. So can we get a strong closure, or like what? What type of ugly fucking bullshit is this? Of course, we see that fucking volume push, and then we get in and we're just chopping. I think we're going to take a loss here. And that's just based off how price is not moving, guys. I think we may end up coming deeper within here than seeing higher prices. But I think I'm going to call it there. I'm not going to exit, but if it takes me out, then it takes me out. But still not a bad loss. Only 600 down for the day. Again, it just leaves us at break even for the week, which, again, I'm just going to kind of go back and look to refine off of that and see what we could have done differently. Again, like even with this entry here, you know, all fine and dandy here. All right, that's out. That sucks dick. We'll take it though. We'll take it. We'll see what continues to happen though on NAS, guys. I'll take these two losses. Gonna go and journal them. Not right away, but I want to see what price does end up doing here. If we just kind of get fucking baited again and price does end up going higher, which honestly I expect it to. It's just a matter of when. So, but again, it could just be one of those days where you kind of got to take those losses, walk away. So, but again, not a bad day. Still one on DAX here. I'm going to look to enter UK 100. Again, I need to see some type of good reaction and obviously a break of these lows before I look to enter. But again, I can't complain. We did good with DAX this week. I believe we had 2 wins, 1 loss, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. No, 2 wins, 2 losses this week. For DAX and Q, we had 2 losses, 2 wins, if I'm not wrong. I'd have to look back. What happened Monday? I believe something happened Monday. Something happened. But looks like we're still getting rejection of that level. Honestly, I wouldn't... I really wouldn't doubt price is going to go up here, guys. So if you want to re-enter, you definitely can, but obviously you do so at your own risk. I only take 2 trades. So if it does go up from here, it just tells me that my bias, again, was correct. It's just we were getting fucking hoed on these, you know, reaction candles. But can't do much about that. I'll see you guys. I won't be here tomorrow. Again, I'm going to be busy, but I'll probably have either Chris or Mark here, and then I'll see you guys next week. But great week for me. I may trade tomorrow from my phone, may not. We'll see, but they'll come in here and hopefully have a solid trade with you guys. But not a bad week. Could be better, but that just means there's more room to be better next week. So I'll see you guys then. Oh, I'm still live. Oh, how do I end? Sorry, guys, going over my journal.